I didn't notice the counting at first. Most people wouldn't have. Houses make noises. They settle. They creak. They whisper to themselves when the temperature changes. This one did all of that too. The lawyer called this place an inheritance. I called it a mistake I didn't know how to refuse. The house sat alone at the edge of town, where the road stopped pretending it went anywhere important. By the time I arrived, the sun had already decided not to follow me. That should have been my first warning. The key fit the door too easily. No resistance, no complaint. Inside, the air smelled old. Not rotten, not damp, just unused. Like a room that had been waiting without knowing what it was waiting for. That's when I heard it. Not clearly, not enough to describe, just a sensation of order. A rhythm that didn't belong to footsteps or breath. I told myself it was pipes. I told myself it was the wind. The house had no clocks. I didn't realise that until later, when I tried to check the time and found nothing watching me back. No ticking. No hands. No faces pretending to measure something they didn't understand. There were lamps though, candles. A single bare bulb at the top of the stairs that flickered like it was nervous about being noticed. That bulb stayed on all night. I slept on the first floor, on a couch that still remembered the shape of someone else. I dreamed of numbers. Not numbers I could see, numbers I could feel. The second night, I heard it more clearly. It wasn't loud, it wasn't constant. It happened in the pauses, between breaths, between thoughts. A soft, deliberate marking of something being recorded. I walked the halls with a candle, counting my steps just to prove I still could. The sound didn't match me. I stopped walking. The sound continued. I found a notebook in the study. It was old. The paper yellowed and brittle at the edges, like it expected to be handled gently. Inside were numbers, nothing else. No dates, no names, no explanations. Just a column that stretched farther than it should have, each number written with careful precision. No hesitation, no corrections. The last number was recent. Recent enough that the ink hadn't fully settled. That was when I realised something I hadn't allowed myself to think yet. The house hadn't been empty. There was a photograph on the mantel. A man standing where I was standing now. Same doorway, same light, same shadow falling wrong across his face. I don't know why I spoke to it. Maybe because the house already felt like it was listening. And maybe because part of me felt strangely included in all of this. The man in the photograph looked back at me.
It doesn't stop when you leave.
After that, I stopped pretending this was about ghosts. Ghosts want recognition. They want stories. This didn't want anything. It was simply counting. I tried to leave the next morning. The car wouldn't start. That was predictable, almost polite. What unsettled me wasn't the failure. It was how incomplete the idea of leaving suddenly felt. As if I'd skipped a step I didn't remember taking. When I closed the door again, the relief came faster than it should have. The counting softened. Not as a reward, more like an adjustment. It took me days to understand the rule, not because it was complicated, because it was personal. The number didn't change when I slept. It didn't change when I walked. It changed when I noticed it. Not when I heard the sound, but when I became aware that it was counting, when I wondered if the number had increased. Each moment of that awareness added one more mark. The house wasn't counting time. It wasn't counting people. It was counting alignment. Each increase felt less like something being added and more like something being confirmed. Once I understood that, things became easier. I stopped trying to find the source. I stopped reading the notebook. I learned how to let my thoughts pass without settling on the sound beneath them. The house grew quieter. Not because it had stopped, but because the distance between us no longer needed to be measured so often. That was when I realized the worst part. It hadn't trapped me. It hadn't needed to. It was teaching me what parts of me were already here. I don't sleep much now. Sleep invites noticing. Instead, I sit in familiar rooms and let the light fade naturally. I keep my eyes on things that don't change. I let the counting exist without acknowledging it. Most of the time it works. Most of the time. But sometimes, just sometimes, the number changes anyway. And when it does, I don't wonder what I did wrong. I wonder how much of me was already listening.